Welcome to Dog Walk Storytime Episode 2 with returning co-host Luna the Lovable. Today's story is about distortion and invitation, and I hope it'll have a good lesson in it for you. Way back in 5th grade, I remember a few interesting things. One was a very small incident comment from my teacher, and it happened as other kids had run out the door of the classroom to go to recess, and I was lagging a bit behind, and I just casually shouted out, "Hey guys, wait up!" And my teacher responded with a little bit of a huff and a corrective comment, "It's not guys, it's gals." And I heard that and understood the accuracy of her comment, and I also knew it didn't seem like a meaningful distinction to me. It was really common to just use the word guys for everybody. It just meant other kids, friends of mine, and still feels like it means the same thing to me today. So I understood that it was a little bit, let's call it persnickety, maybe even judgmental, and I more or less ignored it. I also know that comment happened in the context of a larger picture, which was I understood that this particular teacher didn't like me. And that was rare. That was unusual. And I understood then that it was her hang up, right? Not mine. What's funny is I was a very generally likable kid. I'm super agreeable. I was very obedient. I was respectful. I was a good student. I got good grades. I studied. I learned the things my teachers wanted to teach me. And so generally speaking, I was the kind of kid that got report cards that says joy to have in class, which was lovely and wonderful. And even with that context, and of a really strong sense of culture around me saying, you should respect authority, and especially teachers, I also know that I didn't doubt my own judgment about this, my own discernment, my own evaluation of the truth of the situation, which was that teacher didn't like me. And so the meaningful comment in that context that is what I want to talk about today was this sentence, and it was only 4 words. And I don't remember the trigger. I don't remember the context in which she chose to make this evaluation and make this claim or accusation. But the sentence that came out of her mouth was, "You're not a leader." And it happened a little bit more like this. "You're not a leader." And I can still hear that little huff. I can still hear those 4 words, the immediate, fast, staccato permanence of that label. You're not a leader. Now, that was 50 years ago, more or less. And what's interesting is I had that opinion, that judgment stuck in my own head, my own heart, my psyche, for the better part of the last 50 years. It wasn't until I was raising kids and trying to grow as an entrepreneur, trying to grow as a contributing member of my church, that I recognized that accusation was stuck in me and was influencing me, was limiting me. And I am sure that my teacher did not intend to hurt me, but she did. And I don't want to be misunderstood as this being a rant about teachers. I think the truth is everybody in the world probably has some little teacher wound if they dig for it. And that's probably inevitable because we're all living in a world that's filled with flawed and imperfect human beings, right? Who are doing their best the vast majority of the time, not always succeeding all the time. And, each one of us has our own strengths and our own weaknesses and our own quirks and flaws and crazy, unique capabilities and skills and gifts. We are all that complicated, and the world of human beings is that complicated. So I don't have any deep grudge against that teacher, but I do know that was a significant conversation. It was a really significant interaction that influenced me for a long time. And really, in some ways, my growth related to that statement happened as part of being a participant in my church and agreeing to be church council president, and going through a phase of my life where I had to collaborate with other people, and I did have to be a leader. And I did learn that I could be a leader. And there was so much addition for my life. There was so much abundance that came from that experience, even in the stretching of it, even in the challenge of it, the frustration occasionally of it, but the growth of relationships and the growth of skills and the growth of maybe sometimes a little bit of wisdom and compassion, empathy, all kinds of good stuff came from that effort to stretch and to make it clear that the statement, "You're not a leader," was a lie. It was a distortion rooted in someone else's worldview, in someone else's wounds, in someone else's frustration, someone else's distortion. So the world offers opportunities for distortion all the time. We are all complicated. I think part of the challenge of life is learning to be alert for the opportunities for untangling a lie, for correcting a distortion that maybe came from somebody else, or maybe just came from our own decision to see something a particular way. That happens too. We make our own distortions for ourselves more than we realize, I think. So my invitation to you is, in this order, feel free to think about a time or a way in which you did experience or recognize some distortion, or maybe haven't yet, but now am finding it today, because undistorting is a really good thing to do. And the second part of the invitation is then maybe think about a time that you could identify where you gave someone else the opportunity to see a distortion, to feel a bit distorted about their own identity. Because you can undo that also. Apologies aren't that difficult. They really aren't. And they can make life for you and for everybody else so much better. And if you can help someone else undistort, if you can help someone else see who they really are, what their capabilities really are, that is a beautiful gift. It's a beautiful gift for them. It's a beautiful gift for you. Do it in that order, right? Do it for yourself first. It makes it easier to undistort for others as well. So we've all got the opportunity to be hurt, right? To hurt, to undistort, to heal, and to invite others into those good parts of the human process too. That's it for Storytime for today.